Hello, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are and whenever you're listening to this. Welcome to another life tip from books that I've read, use, and refer to in my life coaching business. And this week's tip comes from, I wonder if we can get this, Life Lessons from History's Heroes. Look back to get ahead, and it's by somebody local to here actually, Michael Anthony Jackson. This is reversed for me. Michael Anthony Jackson. Okay, Michael Jackson. Good bloke, does a lot of work for microloans for people in third world countries, etc., especially women, to start businesses. Fantastic stuff. But he'd written this book as well. Big proponent of personal development. And I was lucky enough to get a hold of a copy of it. So the lesson I want to take from this, and you'll see the name on the front of the people that he's talking about, is actually, this one's from Genghis Khan, all right? And he's look at what happened with Genghis Khan and the Mongol hordes when they were, conquering all before them in the world. And what he found was that, he was great at conquering stuff, and, he was great at conquering, he was bashing everybody here, and, everybody was opening their doors to their forts before them because they were so terrified of him. But once he kept going over countries and countries and countries, as we would know them now, going through these territories and getting it. But once he got to it, and he pretty much got to, I think, half of Europe or something as well, he didn't know how to run it. And he didn't really see the point in it anymore. He didn't have a point to what he was doing. It was just, initially it was freedom for his people, uniting the tribes, stopping them all fighting each other, keeping the Chinese at bay at that time. And then suddenly realised that, he was conquering all before him, but he didn't realise why. Why was he doing all this? And he also couldn't personally run it all, because he didn't trust anybody around about him to run things for him. Everything was very internet signal then, and people were always trying to, sorry, I'm squinting a little because it's so bright here today, unbelievably in Scotland. It's very bright. But he didn't know how to run these things, and he didn't have a point to it. So when he got to a certain point, he was like, right, I've done all this, so what do I do with it? And he didn't really know. Didn't really know what he was doing for it. So the tip really is to understand the purpose behind what you're doing. Purpose is a word that's bandied about a lot by coaches and personal development people. But what we're really looking at there is, what is the driving force for what you're doing? Because if you've got a driving force to do it, you'll get there. All right? And the other thing that lesson taught me is when to know enough is enough. When is it enough? Talked recently about people going after higher salaries and higher salaries and higher salaries. And a study by a chap we've already mentioned, one of our books, Seligman, and Authentic Happiness, noted that the people, the highest earners in America in jobs, and self-employed lawyers and doctors, were among the unhappiest. All right, they were always chasing more. They were always chasing more. So it's about knowing the purpose of what you're doing and when is enough enough, and when will you know enough is enough, rather than just keeping doing something and conquering all before you, which is fab, but without knowing what the point of it is, and without knowing when to stop and say that's enough. I'm okay with that. So, because I think a lot of people, including myself in the past, as I've mentioned, I chased salaries and things, but it was for the wrong reasons. It was for the wrong reasons and with the wrong companies. So it's about taking a look at what am I doing in life, and when is enough for me, and why am I doing it? Why am I doing it? When will I know I've reached enough? When will I get there? And I'll give you a few tips for that in the forthcoming days as well. There's the sun come back out and I'm squinting again. Even now with the blinds reflecting off everything. So, have a think about what is it you're doing, why you're doing it, and when will you know that that's enough? When will you know you think, I've made it, that's enough for me, I don't need to go any further with this. When will you know that? Alright, and we'll have a couple of tips, so that will be the next couple of days for you. So that's it. I hope you have a fab week. Everything's going great for you, and I hope to speak to you soon. If you have any comments on this, please put them down below. The follow-up questions will be in the Facebook Life Even Better community. It's free to join. If you're not already there, please go and join it. It's fab. Lots of people from all over the world who just want to make life even better for themselves. There's There's no barriers to entry there. You won't be called out to be coached unless you want to be. And just give me your comments and your thoughts on any of these tips that we're giving you. And I hope you have a fab week. Bye for now.